Hey, it's Joseph here. Today I've got a couple of packages and boxes that I would like to go through, but before that I just wanted to tell you about my keyboard setup. For quite some time I had been using Logitech MX Mechanical, and I need the full size layout because I do use number pad or num keys on the side, and it is quite important for me. And I really liked a lot of things about this keyboard. The feel of the keys were spot on, and also the overall design of it I really liked as well, and the rigidity and the build quality was excellent as well. But a couple of things that I did not like was the fact that there is no gap between the regular keys and all the F rows on the top. Therefore, I kept hitting F1 and F2 when I'm intending to hit number 1 and 2, as well as the escape key, because usually there is a bit of a gap between these two keys, and I kept accidentally hitting it. Pulling up the help dialog on different type of software, it was bugging the heck out of me. So I just really did not like the fact that there is no gap over there. And another aspect is that this is just fully wireless keyboard. There's no way to connect this keyboard to your computer via wire, although it is provided with a USB-C port over here. So it will charge via this USB-C port, but there is no way to transfer data in that way. So it meant that I am gonna be wireless all the time. There was a couple of moments that I just had a stutter. I don't know if it is just my computer that is acting up versus the wireless, but I would like to rule that out if possible. I just prefer keyboards that are possible to connect via wire and wireless, and just leave the decision up to the user. And lastly, it may be a minor thing depending on the person, but at least for me, I did not like the fact that it didn't have a dedicated play and pause button. It is functioning double with the F10 key, but you've got to flip between the locked function key versus not. It would have been better if there was a play and pause button somewhere down on this corner, but that is the state of this keyboard, and I did use it for a fair amount of time before I arrived to a different keyboard. And this is Keychron K5, which is the keyboard that I'm using now as a daily driver. And again, it is a full-size layout. It is possibly smaller, I would say, in terms of the overall size. However, there is a good amount of gap between the number keys and the function keys that are on the top, so I don't have that issue of hitting escape key and accidentally hitting the F1 key. Especially that gap really helps. The overall key feeling is excellent on this one. There's something about this keyboard I just cannot let go over other feel of the keys. So this is a brown variant of a low keycap, although this doesn't have play and pause button for music either. And in terms of the connection, this support both wireless and wired connection. Therefore, if I just connect a cable over here with a magnetic USB that I have over here, so I just take a cable like this and then just take it over there, and it starts to connect, and it is how I work this keyboard. And if you wish to do it wirelessly, there is an option to do that as well, and it works for both Windows and Mac. So it is really versatile, and I really like the build quality as well. So along with missing a dedicated play and pause button, another aspect that I did not like about this key is the fact that the keycaps were, I guess, square-ish with sort of a sharp edge. It's not sort of the rounded keycaps. So there is an alternative out there, although it has been out of stock ever since I bought this keyboard at least 6 months ago. So I really don't know if those black keycaps for this keyboard will ever be available, and those were going for $30 on top of the sale of the overall keyboard. So that is sort of the money that I will have to pay if those keys actually do become available. Yeah, I guess those are a bit of caveat. It's not really customizable in that sense. And hopefully the next keyboard that I'm gonna try out is going to address that sort of issue. So for those of you who did not realize that I was actually showing a keyboard, and the main frame that I would like to talk about today is one from NuPhy Air96, and this specific model was recommended a few times in the comment section. I do read all of those comments, so I do appreciate it. And luckily NuPhy decided to send me this specific sample as well as a couple of other keycap options and the switches. Therefore I decided to make a video like this. So thank you NuPhy for sending me the keyboard and a couple of other package samples. And here is a little diagram of what the keyboard is going to look like, and as you can see, it is not the full size keyboard layout. So that is sort of a caveat, I would think, in terms of the things that I like about the keyboards, but I have accepted it because it does have the number pad. So we'll try it. So in this nice packaging, we've got the name of the product, Ultra Slim Mechanical Keyboard, designed by NuPhy Studio, and you can go to this website to get it. And there is a diagram as I spoke about. And going around the box, I'm surprised to find there is a woman character over here. Air96 wireless mechanical keyboard for Macs, iOS, Windows, Android, basically all the things. And it is an ANSI layout, not ISO or JIS. And it does state the contents of the box along with the size and weight, and kind of cool diagram along with a character. And on the edges, it says ultra slim, low delay, low profile in 96% layout. So it is definitely not the full size and kind of condensed version. I guess that is something that some people may prefer. I think that is all on the box. So let's go ahead and somehow open this. So inside we've got nice black layout, again the real size of the keyboard, so that's gonna be how big it is. And on the back, this is a diagram or look of what the back side is going to be. Nothing special on the rest of the box, so let's go ahead and flip and open. So here is the quick guide or the manual, connection mode selection, another of that sticker if you're into that sort of thing. Here is the keyboard. And before we open that, let's get to the accessory as always. And we've got the keycap and a switch remover, and then USB type A to USB type C port cable, and it is all braided. And here are a couple of extra keycaps for you to customize a little bit. Keychron definitely did that too. So I was able to swap out a couple of keys, either it be Windows versus Mac keys or the color of those keys. But I've got a lot more over there, so I'll be definitely playing with those too. But it's good to have a couple of things included here as a sample of the switches as well. So one other thing that I had realized while shopping for this keyboard from NuPhy was that it was offered in many different switches and keycap variant. For something like Logitech MX Mechanical, you're offered 3 different variants. One is silent, and then tactile, and then linear variant. And also the same thing for Keychron, whereas I've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of these had different names on it, and I guess these are sort of the samples that they have included for you to try out. That is very considerate of them, because otherwise you'll never know how others feel like, and you get to test it out. Kudos to NuPhy including those, along with this thing over here. Not sure what it is, but it does have USB type A ports and a dongle. Okay, so I guess this is a dongle if you like to use the USB type A port dongle for the wireless connection, but it's got this kind of a thing. I guess it's just so that you don't lose it, and you just attach to the cable like this so that it is always somewhere. Otherwise you would always lose these type of dongles. Yeah, nice touch. Okay, now that I have gone through the accessories, let's go ahead and open the main bit. And backside looks like this. And on top here is the plastic. So very nice matte looking finish on the keycaps, and it is slightly brushed aluminum type of metal finish on the edges for the body, and it is quite solid. I like the build quality and how it feels. There's a good amount of weight to it, not as heavy as Keychron that I'm used to. It really doesn't matter. It does have some weight to it, and it feels very solid. And on the back we've got a couple of colored element over here with the rubbery feet, and it does allow you to do a couple of angle adjustments if that's sort of the things that you like. I actually prefer not to have that, so I'll probably just keep that flat. And you can only just see it is kind of transparent plastic, so you can actually see the back of the keyboard under it. And here is sort of the mirror finish for whatever reason, and it does say open. Very nice. So it definitely is that mirror finish. Anyways, you're not here for the mirror, you're here for the keyboard. And before I make bad judgments, let me consult with the manual a little bit so that at least I am not talking gibberish. So in here it talks about quite a few things, I guess. Oh, you get to have the bigger picture of this woman. Maybe it is some sort of mascot of them. So first here, system selection, connection mode selection, wireless device connection, and then multimedia key settings, LED, backlight settings, side light settings, sleep mode settings. So you can use these type of key combination to set things differently. Maybe the LED I would mess about with using this function keys. So again, looking at the keyboard in terms of the comparison, comparing with the Keychron and the MX keys. In terms of the height, I would say it is very similar to MX keys, and Keychron is just really shorter in terms of the depth. There is no larger frame around, so I guess that. And then also in terms of width, because the number pad has been squashed to this side and there's no these rows of keys, I don't know what you call it, but the delete and the insert and home page up and down has been squashed and pushed up on this corner. That's why we got this 94% of the keyboard. As the overall look, I really like this aluminum silver look, and it is quite well built overall, and the keycaps are sort of matte plastic finish. I'm gonna have to double check what kind of switches I got, but it feels really good. In terms of personal preference, I would say Keychron is just a little bit better, but I would say it is on par with MX keys. It does feel a bit softer than the MX keys brown variant or the tactile variant. And again, there is actually the brown switches over here in this box, so we'll try that later. But it feels really good. I would not have any problem typing on this keys. If it wasn't for overall layout where the number pad is actually on the side as a full size layout, I would definitely get by this feeling. Overall sound, I prefer the NuPhy the best, but in terms of feeling, I like a little bit of that clickery sort of sound that is coming from Keychron, although overall feel is very good on the NuPhy as well. And I like the color scheme. It is quite cute, and it is not overly done either, and I like the subtleness in terms of design. As far as landing the key, because it's all kind of been squashed, I'm not sure if I will be able to do that, navigate really well. I'm not necessarily sure what that key does, but on the edge we've got USB Type-C port, and then also the Windows versus Mac switch over here, off, wired, and wireless. So it does support both wired and wireless, and if we go wireless, There are LED indicators on both sides. I guess it indicates different things. It's trying to pair, and then it is sort of doing rainbow over here. Not sure what that is, but cool. So since we've had an overall look at this keyboard, which is very nice, let me have a look at a couple of these included packages. And by the way, I like low profile variants. I don't like the full size keys. The ones that I've mentioned today and the ones that I've shown on my channel were all low profile variant. And here is the other sort of variant that I would like to introduce today, and it is NuPhy Studio Shine Through ABS Keycaps. The Shine Through ABS Keycaps is something that I kind of wanted on Keychron as well, and I had trouble getting a hold of. So I guess this is available and is here. And I guess the little trouble is the fact that this keycap set is meant to work with Air 75 or 60 keyboard, and mine is 96, Air 96. Therefore, I guess I don't have all the keys over here for this specific variant. Since Air 96 was sort of new, I guess they don't have that keycap set just yet, but you don't have to swap out all of them. You can swap out only that portion that are on this side, so that would still work. And guess you lift the top. So this is the black variant, and it has the shine through keycaps ABS. I like the overall feel of it. It is a little bit smoother. No, it feels exactly the same, but it is black. And as I always do, I have this tiny little dongle that is a USB-C with a magnet on one side. And you can just connect that over there. And if you want to connect that and charge, I just snap this cable and it starts charging. Ooh, okay, so it is rainbow. I guess I'm sort of cycling through. I guess that's a brightness setup, so I can brighten it up a bit. Let me turn off the light so you guys could kind of see better. Okay, so this is full brightness versus the lowest, and then I can cycle through of various modes, blue, purple, and I guess this is white, what I prefer, and just kind of lower down the brightness. I guess the least brightness is something I prefer anyway, so I'll leave it at that. So we've got this keycap that is supposedly shine through, and if you look in here, actually on the back, the plastic itself is somewhat translucent, so it actually lights up the characters that it is being lit. And based on what I can see here, because actually underside is the other half of the keyboard, I think this is actually covering all the things that I need. I might be slightly mistaken, and I don't think it was well shown before, but I've got this sort of the lavender color or very light purple, and that was included in this sample pack as that one over there. And based on what I had ordered, it's called Wisteria, and that was the switch variant of this specific keyboard. And if I were to replace it with this keycap, then you see that actually that P is now lighting up, whereas the other keys are actually not shining through, meaning that it is backlit. However, the keys or the characters itself are not lighting up on those. However, once you put down these keys on here, then the light will actually highlight the characters that are under there. So let me actually go ahead and swap out these keys just so that I get a good feel of what that looks like. Let's go ahead and swap out the enter key as well. Okay, so the enter key does have the stabilizer on either side, and I can now replace it with this so that it actually lights up. Just push that in. Okay, it's now lighting up. The keycaps do not feel any different. And then in terms of function key switching, you can have it either in a Mac mode or Windows mode. And then other function keys are available here, as you said, and also there is a factory reset. You can press these buttons to check your batteries. For Bluetooth pairing, you can actually set it into wireless mode, and then function, and if you press 1, it is going to connect into Bluetooth 1, 2, 3, and then the 4 or would be 2.4 gigahertz wireless signal. For the comparison's sake, let me actually go ahead and switch out a couple of keys with the brown switch so that I can actually feel some difference. As far as the unboxing goes, it says Gateron low profile 2.0 brown switches. So these are all from Gateron and the type is tactile. Operating force is listed here with the pre-travel and total travel listed. So all very technical, and I know some keyboard enthusiasts are very into this. And I understand the Wisteria also is the tactile variant, which is the lavender color that I had shown you. I guess it is a similar tactile variant, although it's gonna be slightly different feeling. I suppose the brown variant may be something that I'm used to. With that, I believe you use this side of the removal tool and then pinch there is my guess. I've actually never done this before, wish me luck. All right, you just pinch it in there and it just pulled out. So I've got one switch over here, same thing for these. So the contact goes to the bottom of the keyboard. So I'm gonna orient it this way and then maybe just push it in. All right, that was easy. You know what? The brown keys are something that I'm more used to. It's a bit more clickier in terms of the sound and the feel of it as well. I think the Wisteria keys are a bit more muted than the brown keys. Just to prove the point, let's check it out. It actually looks exactly the same size and construction. Yes, I can confirm that it does say Gateron on top and Gateron on top here. Although this one is version 2.0. I can't confirm whether this one is version 2.0 or not. So it definitely feels the same. And this specific box says Light and Cool Island Summer, designed by NuPhy Studio. And around the side it says Profile, NSA Profile, and Dye-sub PBT Keycaps. Count is 113. Compatible with Air 60, 75, and 96. So this one definitely says it is compatible with 96. Designer is UMSC_. Cool. And I kind of liked the overall design of this, and you can see that it's got all sorts of design aspect that's going on. In Dye-sub PBT Keycaps, it is a blue theme, which is my sort of color. Focus on the fun and function. And here again you got the first half and then the second half, and it looks like I've got additional ones over here. Those are if you want to be funky and having fun. And since I had switched out these switches, let me go ahead and replace these keycaps. Have a bit of personality on your keyboard, and this is where everything becomes all customizable and you can do all sorts of different things. And from what I can see, this one is not translucent, meaning the character in the middle is not going to be shine through. So if you want to maintain the backlit keys, then you got to use these shine through keys, or you can have a bit more fun by having this blue themed keycaps. So that's entirely up to you. I would actually change the spacebar to this color. Pull on one side and comes out, and I can just put that keycap on there. I like the color. And actually, because I am Windows user, it's not going to be command, so let's have that out as well. So here is what you are able to do, a mix match of keycaps and switches with NuPhy Air96. If you want to show some of your personality through your keyboard, you can certainly do that, and actually feels quite nice. Overall feeling is good. And in terms of overall look, it is not gamery, it's not completely professional and boring. It is quite cute and functional as well. So I think in terms of the look, it gets the top score. In terms of the configurability, it gets the top score because you got limitless configurations that you can do between different type of keycaps and switches. But in terms of the overall layout, I am not so sure as yes, the familiar number pad is here. However, I do hit all of the middle row, the arrow keys and the home and insert and page up and down quite often, and that is all stacked up here, so it's not going to be as familiar. And I want the 0 to be double keys, and that is now being tucked in by this arrow keys that's occupying in here. So if I were to try and get used to this layout, it's gonna take some time. And also this one, I don't know if you had noticed as well, but the escape key is definitely right next to F1 key, which I'm gonna accidentally hit more than I would like. So in terms of the layout, it is not my favorite. Hopefully NuPhy works on something that is 100% full layout, then we might be talking again. Yeah, that is based on what I'm able to see on this short interaction with this keyboard and unboxing, and I will definitely leave the links in the description. And if you have found this content useful, please like and consider subscribing to my channel to continue watching these type of videos. And as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.